Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Movie Knights Roundtable Live. I am Dalton Burdett with the amazing Nick Iricchio. Nick, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, buddy.
Great to hear. Guys, if you're new here, the Movie Knights Roundtable is a fun little live show podcast where we talk about everything going on in the world of movie and entertainment news, where we dive through our sources, we find the interesting stories, we talk about them. We can also just kind of stream of consciousness, talk about whatever we want relating in the world of movies, and if you're watching live, please put something in the live chat to be a part of the conversation. We'll pop you up like you can see here and make you part of the conversation where in between stories we'll address all of our live chat questions. If you feel so inclined to give us a super chat, don't feel like you have to, but if you feel like you want to, we will obviously prioritize those questions first as well. So guys, with that down, we have some interesting news stories for you today, and then of course at the end, the box office. So get ready for that. With that said, Nicholas, it's time to go over to your wonderful PowerPoint for our first news story.
Let's do it.
And our first news story, if I'm not mistaken, is something that I assume you're particularly excited about, yes?
Yeah, moderately excited, I guess.
Moderately, okay. Well, Natasha Lyonne is a prominent actor working today. They recently just came off of voicing a role in the Marvel What If series. I believe they're also voicing a role in Fantastic Four. But most notably, she was in a television show called, it was the Rian Johnson show, Peacock. Poker Face, thank you, Nicholas. And been making waves on that show. Well, according to the Insider newsletter, she has been tapped to play Joan Rivers in a biopic. Very interesting story and details here. Let's pull it up for you. Natasha Lyonne to play Joan Rivers in a biopic. She is also from Orange is the New Black. The biopic will be called Can We Talk? The biopic was produced by Sony's 3000 Pictures, focuses on Rivers' rise in the male-dominated world of comedy. The script is by Cosmo Carlson, no director announced as of yet. And I wanted to bring up this story because obviously Joan Rivers is a huge pioneer in the world of comedy, especially in terms of, breaking glass ceilings, just, being a female comedian in the time frame in which she was working and being able to still be considered one of the best comedians of that age, of that time. Even later in life when she would go, I liked watching compilations on YouTube where she would go on talk shows or television or morning shows and just be completely fucking hilarious on those things. And it'd be interesting to see Natasha Lyonne in this environment because I haven't watched Poker Face. I've heard she's fantastic in it. But everything that I have seen her in has just been voice work at this point. But as someone who's just this big upcoming actor, who I also believe has some controversy for directing something with AI in it, if I'm not mistaken, I'm curious to see this move for her, playing a real-life person, jumping into the world of a biopic, especially somebody who has such an interesting story to tell regarding their life as Joan Rivers. So I'm more curious than anything. I'm cautiously optimistic. Nick, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
No, I mean, I've always liked Natasha Lyonne. I'm not really aware of any controversy with her, so I'm gonna have to look into that. So I can't speak to that as well. But I do agree. I've known her a lot from her vocal performances. I mean, if you look at her letterbox, she had a brief appearance in Glass Onion, obviously tying to the Rian Johnson connection with Knives Out. She had a small role in Uncut Gems, Ad Astra, American Pie movies, Robots, DC's League of Super Pets, American Reunion, Blade Trinity, even to go so far back, and like you said, going into What If and her upcoming role in Fantastic Four, which is still not disclosed as far as we know. I think Joan Rivers is a comedic powerhouse, comedic force. I think she even did the voice of the robot in Spaceballs, their version of C-3PO. And I think that she's an iconic person that has a very distinct, iconic voice. And I think that Natasha Lyonne is a great pick to take that over. In terms of her acting abilities, are we going really big drama here? I don't know if I've seen any performance from Natasha Lyonne that I'm like, oh yeah, she is a terrific actress, oh my God, drama, give her the Oscar now. But I have enjoyed every performance that I've seen of her. So I think it's going to make, at the very least, for a very entertaining movie.
No, I agree. I agree with everything you said. And when you listed off her works, I've seen more of her than I thought I have. So I have to go back and start looking for her and those things that you mentioned. Before we move on, Hannah Heiler mentions in the live chat, let me pull it up here. She was so good in Orange is the New Black. I've heard that. I've never watched Orange is the New Black religiously. I would catch a couple episodes of it because it was really popular when I was in school. And, I had family members and friends who would watch, so I would kind of see it on in different houses I was in, but I never actually got to sit down and watch the whole show. So maybe I should do that at some point. Although, with that being said, I could give you a laundry list of the TV shows and movies I'm fucking behind on. I actually found a literal list of stuff I'm behind on, and it starts in 2019 of TV shows I was trying to watch at the time. And the first thing on the list is Watchmen 2019. And I'm like, Jesus, I'm 6 years behind on everything. I need to get on that. But
that is crazy. But I know, obviously, she's been a staple in a lot of stuff for a while. But I feel like Orange is the New Black is kind of really what brought her into a different category of popularity. And
just like the stratosphere.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, watch this person. We're going to put her in a bunch of stuff. Enjoy. And I have.
There you go. Well, guys, what do you think about Natasha Lyonne playing Joan Rivers in an upcoming biopic? Let us know in the comments as we move on to our next story. And this next one, I'm personally very excited about. We talked about on the show a few weeks ago that they are officially making Meet the Parents 4, which is very exciting. I'm a big fan of that franchise, particularly the first two films. And it's going to be interesting to see the new direction that they take this series. Well, we didn't know many details about the returning cast members other than Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro at the time, but now we have confirmation that there is another cast member from that series returning. The confirmation comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter, and it is Owen Wilson will be returning to this franchise, will reprise his role as Kevin. Ariana Grande will also be starring alongside Terry Palo, Robert De Niro, and Ben Stiller. We talked about Ariana Grande last time. It'll be the writer-director of the first three, John Hamburg, and it revolves around the son of Stiller and Polo's characters, which we pointed out last time, which means they are probably going to now be the parents that are being met. I love Owen Wilson. I love Owen Wilson's character in Meet the Parents. The volleyball scene is fantastic, and just honestly, everything with his character in general is amazing. And seeing him come back, I mean, it makes sense because he's part of the family. It's not a crazy thing to think about, but it's not one that I was expecting. And so just hearing that he's going to be back brings me a lot of joy. It makes me happy, to think that this is going to be something that they're going to be exploring. It also raises the question of who else is going to be showing up in these movies. But, it makes me think at least that either at its worst, Owen Wilson's friends with all these people and wants to come back and have fun, or at its best, there's something interesting about the story that made Owen Wilson go, hey, yeah, I'll come back and do this one. That's cool. So I'm excited. Again, cautiously optimistic because I didn't like the third movie all that much. But I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Owen Wilson coming back and just the Meet the Parents franchise in general?
I mean, I love it. I like all those movies, to be honest. I do agree with your sentiment. I think the third is a little bit weaker than the original, or the first two. But I think it's exciting that he's coming back. I think it makes sense that he's coming back. And with this announcement, we also got the announcement that Terry Polo would be returning as well, which makes sense. I feel like it was one of those things where you can't really push this movie forward in a really tangible, accessible way without the staple of the cast moving forward. No one is really interested in a Meet the Parents movie without Ben Stiller or Robert De Niro, and by extension, Owen Wilson, Terry Polo. I really am hoping they get back Blythe Danner, that they get back Dustin Hoffman, Barbara Streisand. I hope we do get to see that expansion inside of things. But obviously, it's going to be a sequel that's more focused on the kids. So I am curious to see what role Owen Wilson has to play in the larger scheme of things as it relates to that storyline. But I mean, it also makes sense. I know he has a very popular, I don't know how popular I should say, but he had a very show on Apple called Stick that just premiered that's been getting some decent reviews. And I do know for a fact that John Hamburg, the director-writer of the Meet the Parents movies, directed a few of the episodes for that.
There you go.
I don't know if he was involved creatively past that or if he just came in to direct it. So I think it makes sense that they connected back on that. And he probably got him to do it in agreement with that. So I think it makes sense.
No, that's a very astute observation. That's great to know. That's a good way to get your actor in a place where you can talk to them for extended periods of time. Just work on the thing that they're working on. But guys, what do you think about Owen Wilson coming back to be a part of the Meet the Parents franchise? And my pitch is, if we're bringing people back, bring back Jessica Alba as well. I miss her. I don't see her in things very often anymore. She might have retired. I can't remember. But anyway, guys, let us know what you think down in the comments as we move on to our final main news story topic of the day before the box office, of course. And we have some news, some updated news about the Highlander reboot, directed by Chad Stahelski of John Wick fame and starring Henry Cavill. Now, I would sit here and waste time with speculation as to what that news is, but if you clicked our thumbnail, you know exactly what this is. And that is that Russell Crowe has joined the cast along with Henry Cavill in a Man of Steel reunion. I love Man of Steel, so I'm loving seeing this. Here are the details. This comes to us from Collider. It was an exclusive from Collider. Good for Collider. Russell Crowe joins the Highlander reboot. It's directed by, of course, by Chad Stahelski. Crowe's role is secret, but said to be major and mysterious. Major Mysterious was my nickname in college. The reboot is described as epic and mythic and blending fantasy and action. Well, it'd be weird if it was described as anything else, considering the original film existing. Listen, I don't think you can make a movie worse by adding Russell Crowe. It can only be better. So whatever amount of level that this movie's at, it's now better because Russell Crowe is in it. And you might be thinking to yourself, oh, well, he hasn't really given like a Gladiator type performance or a Cinderella Man type performance in a long time. Need I point you to The Pope's Exorcist, where he steals the fucking show in every goddamn scene he's in? Nick, how much of a worse movie is The Pope's Exorcist if Russell Crowe is not in it?
Oh, significantly worse. Russell Crowe just has this gravitas to him in that role that just makes it for an iconic viewing.
Thank you.
It's just a good time at the movies, even though I watched it at home. But
And
I wish I saw it
if
in
I'm not
theaters.
mistaken, it's from the director of Overlord, and Overlord fucking rules. So we're just
It
gonna
is.
keep that in the back of minds here. But
Well, I think also to consider as well, just another example where you said no movie's been made worse from it. I would argue that he was a welcome addition to a movie that I did not care for in Thor
Love and Thunder. Yeah.
And I know a lot of people did not like the portrayal of Zeus. I personally, it worked for me. I thought Russell Crowe was absolutely hysterical in it. And so I'm excited to see that. And also Nice Guys. I know we're getting into like the decades now, but
hell
like
yeah.
he is incredible in Nice
He's
Guys. so I'm
unbelievable in
very
Nice
excited.
Guys. No, 100%, 100%. And look, the Highlander movie, the original, is something that a lot of movie fans hold near and dear to their heart. I know a lot of people who love that first Highlander movie. I know almost nobody who likes the second Highlander movie. And the jury is out on the third movie. Highlander 2 is reportedly so bad that Highlander 3 completely ignored the events of that movie, back when that was not a popular thing to do. They just kind of, they weren't the first to do it, but they certainly weren't hopping on a trend. They just made a creative choice there. So, you know, it also tells me that clearly Henry Cavill and Russell Crowe had a good time working together, because I would be shocked if Henry wasn't at least brought up to speed as to who could be casting for this certain role. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Henry Cavill is even helping either EP the movie or straight out produce the movie. So clearly, this is just vindication for me that Man of Steel is good. It makes no sense, but that's how I'm going to take it. Nick, I'm going to throw it over to you. I know we've already briefly discussed it, but your thoughts on Russell Crowe joining Highlander, and, you know, anything else for fun you want to throw in there?
No, I mean, I'm just happy to see Russell Crowe popping up in things. He's an actor that I always enjoyed watching. I watched Gladiator for the first time this year.
That's right.
And I was angry that I had not seen it earlier. But I mean, I think he's a great actor who has just maybe not gotten the right roles. And as of late, you know, Nice Guys 2 sequels should officially be happening.
Ugh,
but
please.
alas, that's only in my dreams. But I think it's interesting. I don't really have a connection to Highlander. Personally, I haven't seen the film, but it is something that gets me excited to hear the people that are being attached to it. Mainly, honestly, out of all the news, Chad Stahelski being at the helm is really what excites me the most or intrigues me, because I'm just like, oh hell yeah, a new
Exactly.
Chad Stahelski movie. And I just really, I just want Henry Cavill to have a win. He got
Yeah.
screwed over consistently with the Superman stuff with DC, with all the regime changes and everything like that. And then there was all the stuff with him leaving The Witcher. I know, and I think he's been trying to get a Warhammer show or something in development for quite some time. I think that is moving forward.
Yeah, at
pretty quickly,
Amazon.
But
Mhm.
yeah, but you know, so I'm just happy to see him winning, embracing his nerdy side, and hopefully coming out better for it. Because I like seeing Henry Cavill in things, I won't lie.
No, I agree. And you bringing up Chad Stahelski, I think even if you know nothing about the original Highlander, that alone should get you excited. Partially because, just one, he's an incredible director if you just look at the John Wick movies, but two, each John Wick movie is kind of better than the previous one, in a way, not fully, but in terms of technical filmmaking. So clearly he's grind his teeth and learned a lot about directing by directing this franchise, and by doing this movie. Now, we did report they are going to do John Wick 5, but by doing Highlander, he's finally getting the chance to step out of that comfort zone and do something new. And if he's able to knock Highlander out of the park, he basically is proving to not only just, the studios, but also just the consumers that he's not a one-trick pony, that he has the stuff to be an excellent blockbuster filmmaker. And it was an interesting thing to look at the paths, because in the first John Wick movie, it was Chad Stahelski and David Leitch. They co-directed it together. And then David Leitch went off to do his own stuff. He went to do Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2 and Bullet Train, and I'm sure there's a Fall Guy. I'm sure there's another movie I'm forgetting about, but Chad Stahelski was just like, I'm gonna do John Wick 2, 3, 4, and now 5, and here's the thing: while David Leitch did establish himself as someone who can hop and do other things, if you ask me right now who the better filmmaker is, I'm gonna tell you Chad Stahelski. Now, it's just because he's learned how to make one type of movie very well, but I think John Wick 4 is better than everything David Leitch has made. And that's no disrespect to David Leitch. I'm actually a huge, huge David Leitch fan. I love his films. But I think both clearly had a decision to make after that first movie. And I don't think either of them is regretting their decision for where they've now ended up. So it's interesting to see Chad Stahelski now be able to do something new finally. It almost feels like he feels like I can do this now. Like I feel like I can do it now. And so that's why I'm more intrigued to see it, because if it's amazing, he cemented himself as one of the best blockbuster filmmakers. If it sucks, John Wick 6. So who can really be mad? So
either way we win.
That's kind of where we're at. But guys, that is our final news topic story of the day, so it is now time to move on to the box office!
The box office. But before we get to the box office, we totally forgot that David Leitch also directed Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs and Shaw, which is the best Fast and Furious movie.
Whoa. No.
Fact.
Not fact. You haven't seen the best Fast and Furious movie.
And that is what?
5. Fast 5 is legit great.
Is Idris Elba a superhero in it?
No. You know what?
Does anyone take a punch so someone else could land one?
Not specifically as part of the plot, no. Listen, your argument's great. But if you ever want to have fun, pull up all the Rotten Tomatoes scores for the Fast and Furious movies and go in order. And have it go from I think 30 or 40 something to 20 something to 30 something to 40 something. And then Fast 5 is 79. It just jumps. Because it's whoa, that movie fucking rules, actually.
I also just to double down on it, name another Fast and Furious movie that has as stacked a cast as this one. You have The Rock, Jason Statham. Mm-hmm. You have Idris Elba. You have Vanessa Kirby. You have Helen Mirren. You have Isa Gonzalez. You have Eddie Marsden. And most importantly, you have Cliff Curtis, who I like on Fear the Walking Dead, even though I only watched a season of that.
Listen, all important things. However, I would counter with the cast of every Fast and Furious movie after that one, because it has all those people and just gets more people.
Rob Delaney, Ryan Reynolds, Kevin Hart. The hits just keep coming.
Listen, you're crushing this bit, but I still beg and implore you to watch Fast 5. Fast 5 is legitimately amazing. I think you'd really like it. Just throwing it out there. 6 is good too.
I think I started at 7.
Yeah.
I think I went 1, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I mean, that's one way to do it. I'm not going to say it's the right way, but that is one way to do it. Anyway, we're way past the box office announcement to not actually do the box office. So, Nicholas, you know what? I'm doing it again. Box office!
The box office.
That's for future Dalton, for timestamp purposes. So, I didn't do predictions last week because I was not here on the last early week episode. So, Nick, your predictions. They say in life, you're either first or last. In this case, you were both. Because you got the first choice right and the last choice right. The middle, not so much. So, here is exactly how the actual box office went down. If you'd give me a second here, as I pull out the stuff that I should have had queued up already.
See how the numbers works for you, because it did not want to work for me last week's show. I'll tell you that much.
And dude, when you're alone, it's terrifying. All right, here we go. The actual box office. Coming in first was How to Train Your Dragon, making another $36.5 million in its second week, dropping 57%. Pretty average drop. Coming in second was 28 Years Later in its opening weekend, making $30 million. Leo came in third in its opening weekend, making $20.8 million, the lowest opening in Pixar's history. Lilo and Stitch came in fourth, making $9.7 million in its fifth week, dropping 38% from the previous week. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning came in fifth, dropping 39% from week 4 to week 5, making another $6.4 million. And just continuing on here, because it's the summer and we got a lot of movies, Materialist came in sixth, dropping 49% from week 1 to week 2. Ballerina came in seventh, dropping 54% from week 2 to week 3, making $4.5 million. Karate Kid Legends made $2.3 million, and Final Destination Bloodlines in ninth, making $1.8. And then Kubera, I think is how it's pronounced, came in 10th with $1.7 million in its opening weekend. So, lots to go over here. Let's dive into How to Train Your Dragon. The worldwide total of How to Train Your Dragon is now $357 million. Budget's not listed here, but I've read in the trades it's around $150 million. So it's probably already profitable. I can't do the math that quick, but I think it's more than 1.5. No, 2.5? 2 would be 300. It's getting there. It's probably right on the cusp of 2.5. I think once you get to 450, they're chilling. They're chilling and doing fine. 28 Years Later now has $60 million worldwide on a budget of 60, so it's made its exact production budget back. Obviously has a little bit more to go for profitability. I think it should get it no problem. It does have a B- cinema score, which can do poorly for it. However, I think horror is a niche enough genre to where it's going to do okay and not take a huge drop or anything like that. At least I hope so, because I really liked this film. Elio made $34 million worldwide so far on a budget of $150. Oof, that is not good for Pixar and Elio. I feel bad for the movie because I enjoyed it, but it's also hasn't been marketed very well, and they've kind of given up and thrown out this movie to die, and I hate when studios do that. Lilo and Stitch now has $910 million at the box office. It might come just shy of $1 billion. We were pretty confident that it was going to get there. It might come just shy of $1 billion. However, we are still in the summer movie season, which means anything can happen. I think as long as Disney is smart and they don't put this goddamn movie on PVOD and streaming anytime soon, it will have a better chance at getting there. With that being said, in my luck, in 20 minutes, they're going to announce it's coming on Disney Plus in 3 weeks, and that's going to ruin the chances. But it is still possible. However, it's looking right now that it might come a little bit short. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning has $540 million worldwide. And you might be thinking, wow, over $500 million. What an accomplishment for any movie. Wrong. The budget was $400 million. 1.4 times the production budget. It's going to be quite the money loser. The strikes and COVID bring some shame to this scenario. However, I'm glad it exists. I liked the movie. For my own selfishness, let's pull up Materialists here. And Ballerina. Materialists, $30 million worldwide on a budget of 20. So it's at 1.5. It might reach profitability in the theaters. We'll have to see. It depends on the word of mouth as this goes, but when you've seen the dumbass people talking about this movie, who knows how the word of mouth is going to be on it. And Ballerina has $100 million flat worldwide on a budget of 90, so this will likely end up being a money loser. However, I just hope it can make as much money as it can, because I love this movie. Unabashedly love this movie.
I enjoyed it.
I did as well. Let's see what Karate Kid's at. Karate Kid is at 98. It's about to hit 100 at 2.2. If you just squeak it out a little bit more, you can get some profit.
That was a cheap movie. I
Yeah,
don't know why
45.
I thought that. I don't know why I was gonna expect that to be in like the 80s.
Yeah, no.
I'm basing that off nothing and having not seen it, but that is what I expected.
You just looked at the poster and you were like, ah, yes, 80.
Yes. I guess Ralph Macchio is cheap.
Jeez. Of course. Well, that is the box office for this week, but we got to predict, buddy. It is time to do our predictions.
So you got what? F1 coming out and M3 2.0?
God, M3 Calixer's in the chat saying, yo. Hello, Calixer. Nice to see you. Yeah, we got F1 and Megan coming out this weekend. I think that's the only major releases.
I think so as well.
Yo, Ironheart comes out tomorrow.
You wouldn't know that from the marketing, guys.
Dude.
What?
I have like stuff up on my other monitor in case there's some breaking news. In an interview with Variety, because we talked about how Jurassic World's coming out, so Mahershala Ali is going to be doing press, which means it's opening the floodgates for people to ask about Blade.
Immediately at the premiere, someone already did it.
Variety did. And this is the quote. I'm pulling it from Discussing Film, but they're pulling from Variety. Mahershala Ali, when asked when Blade will begin filming, here's the quote. Call Marvel. I'm ready. Let them know I'm ready.
This poor guy, it's going to be a hell of a press tour.
Oh, yeah. He's not gonna get out of there.
Do you think that how far extent does the like PR training go? Like, do you think that he went to Marvel or Marvel went to him and they were like, here's what you can say about Blade? Or do you think he's just kind of thrown to the wolves and like he's with his own PR team? Like, what the hell are we going to say?
I think it's all of the above. I think as a professional, you don't want to shit talk a job, especially when you haven't started the job yet, which means there's money to be made. But also, Marvel reached out to him and was like, hey, man.
Hey, it's going to happen.
Here's the narrative. Because obviously after that comment, Feige's on the phone with his agent or his PR person. Like, hey, this is what we want him to say. But here's the thing. If they hadn't worked that out, and Mahershala Ali's like, fuck it, I don't need Blade. He can say whatever he wants.
That's fair. I am curious. Maybe they get the first one to see how they go and Marvel watches, and then they're like, all right, fuck. Well, we're involved now.
We'll see.
We shall see. But poor guy. It's gonna be gonna be a hell of a press tour.
I can't wait for the compilation videos of just every time someone asks him about Blade. Kylexer put in the chat, this is specifically for you, Nick. He says, unrelated, Nick, update Valorant, 3 gigabytes, also new map coming out Wednesday. Ooh. There you go.
And he also adds, now and it might be ready.
He also adds, Mahershala Ali, True Detective Season 3. Yes, the proper greeting
Mahershala Ali,
for anyone. All right. We are now
God, remember when it was supposed to be Blade 2023?
Yep.
And look where we are now.
Yep. They announced it in 2019. I was in the room. I was there.
It's like Hamilton, I think. I haven't seen it.
I don't know what's more upsetting. The fact that I knew you were talking about the room where it happened, or the fact that I've been exposed to so much Hamilton that I got it. I feel like I'm a better person if I was like, what do you mean? So there we go. But let's do our predictions.
You go first because I did it last week.
You know what? That's fair. I think coming in first place is going to be F1.
I don't know how to do registered trademark on the Windows PC, so
that's so funny.
I am just going to put F1.
Are we allowed to tell that story? Or is that like a rule? I feel like we're allowed to tell that story.
I don't know. I don't see why not. I think it's just funny.
You're right. I'm going to tell the story. So when we got our press invite to go see F1 the movie, we got an email from the marketing people representing the studios saying specifically, hey, don't forget to mark in your review and in your titlings that there is a registered trademark after F1. So please refer to the film as F1 registered, and then they did the thing, the movie, which is why, like 6 times in the review, just to be fucking funny, I kept referring to it as F1 registered trademark, the movie. But literally everyone in our Critics Association who got that was just like, what the fuck is this, dude? Like, this is so...
They were like,
someone at F1...
understand how much this messes up our SEO?
I mean, not just that, but it's because some motherfucker at F1 was like, hey, that's our trademark, you bitch. How dare you just start using that? Hannah's happy about the Hamilton mention. Yes, thank you.
Companies and their brands, am I right?
Companies and their brands. All right. Oh, we got some stuff in the live chat too. All right, here's my prediction. F1's gonna come first. Here's the thing. Megan's tracking horribly, but the marketing is good and it's PG-13. I'm gonna go Megan 2.0 second. Yeah, I think it's got 30 in it.
Okay.
I'm going to go How to Train Your Dragon third. I think Elio's just fucked. I'm going to go 28 Years Later fourth. Fuck it, Mission Impossible fifth. Ooh. My heart wanted to say Materialists would jump back into the 5th place, but I feel like it's going to be Mission Impossible.
Hold on.
Because I feel like the dad movie crowd, if they go to F1 and F1 is sold out, the movie they're picking is Mission Impossible. You always gotta factor in your sold out plays. Working at a movie theater, I can tell you, every time people come to the movie and it's sold out and then they immediately have another one that they pick, or they look at it for 5 seconds and decide. And it's always a movie that's somewhat adjacently similar. Every time, without fail.
So your last one was Mission Impossible. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to go. Oh, man. So you think that I'm going to go. All right. We're going to go for it. I'm going to have faith in Elio. I'm going to go F1. I'm going to go Megan, How to Train Your Dragon, 28 Years Later, and then in 5th, I'm going to go Elio's going to squeak above Mission Impossible.
Okay. I would like that to happen. I'm just not sure it will.
But see, I think there's a chance Lilo and Stitch even gets in there before Mission Impossible, but you never know.
And that's fair. I'm worried that all the people who want to watch Elio have already accepted the fact that they're waiting for Disney Plus. And that's just a fact now. I didn't even think about Lilo and Stitch. I skipped it entirely, so that's a good point. But we'll see. We will see. Calixer in the live chat had one thing, but I'm not going to show it because he said wait and updated it. He has F1, Megan, 28 Years Later, How to Train Your Dragon, Elio. Calixer, if you're right, we'll shout you out on next week's early week episode.
Yes, I have it written down here in my notes app.
And he agrees that it's a streaming movie. So yeah, that's why I think it's just gonna fall, which I hate to see. I don't like any movie experiencing that, but them's the breaks.
Them's the breaks indeed. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
all
I think
right.
that is my predictions.
Okay, same. I think that's it on the prediction front. Guys, as always, if you like the audio-only version of the show, please come over and consider subscribing to us on YouTube and watching live if you can. If not, just watch us later. And if you're watching us on YouTube, live or otherwise, and you need to just go to audio-only when you're in your car or wherever, hop over to your podcasting app of choice. You can find us there as well. We have a shit ton of movie reviews coming at you this week because we are behind on our movie reviews. And, oh, fuck, dude. The embargo for What We See Tomorrow is Wednesday at 9 a.m. I think.
Oh, fun.
So that's always good. So we have
Always a
like
good
we have
time.
5. We have 5. Oh my god. We have 5 movie reviews coming. Jesus. Anyway, guys, that'll do it. As
We're tired,
always,
guys.
we're so exhausted. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.